Well, that's the problem with all of Jesus' sayings. You want to cross stitch them and put them on your refrigerator door until you actually have to do them.
Yeah, exactly.
You are alcoholic,
Mm-hmm.
sober for
20
25,
plus years.
20 plus years, and slip.
Yeah. As happens sometimes.
As happens.
Yeah.
But it usually doesn't happen after 20 years. It usually happens in 6-7 weeks or something. But I guess it happens anytime.
It can happen anytime.
Yeah.
I first got sober in 1987. I was a young man.
Mm-hmm.
And got out really in the nick of time. Now, this is 1987. There were no treatment centers. There were no that industry has arisen only in the last
Right.
20 years. It's anonymous, right? I went for about, I'd say, 4 or 5 years, pretty regularly, and but the desire to drink was really expelled. Like that is part of the promise, right? Of
Right.
AA, that working these steps and working this program will expel the need or the desire for drinking. You'll adopt a stance of neutrality
Right.
towards it.
Right.
And miraculously, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where things went sideways, I think, was for all those years, I wasn't involved in a program of recovery. Right. I basically stopped after 5 years. Now, I would dart in and out periodically.
Right.
Every 2-3 years, I'd pop in for 3-4 weeks. Go, I forgot how great this is.
But you didn't stay with the program.
But I didn't stay with the program. Right. Then I go to see a doctor. I end up with a prescription. So I didn't relapse on alcohol. It was on prescription medication. So it was Adderall and Xanax. Adderall, which is a stimulant,
right,
usually for ADHD, plus Xanax, which is an anti-anxiety agent, both of which are powerfully addictive. And ended up in a addictive relationship with them. So it's there's a saying in AA. They'll say, while you're in here doing your work, your addiction is in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
It was a very kind of a gradual overtaking. And until it became unsustainable and unhealthy and required me to take measures, namely to go to treatment and to re-engage with a 12-step program to facilitate my own healing and health.
Right. And out of that came a very good book.
Thank you.
Called The Fix. You write about how the 12 steps not only help addicts, but as we've talked about before, we're all addicts somewhere. If you take the fallen nature of humanity seriously, we're all on that spectrum somewhere. But you started writing about how these 12 steps really are keys to a better life, and are useful and helpful for everybody.
And Bill Wilson, the guy who wrote them, the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, said the same thing. George Shoemaker, who we were talking about earlier, said the same thing. Right? The Episcopal priest at St. George's in New York City. Dr. Bob, who was a committed Christian, said the same thing. These are a way of life for everybody.
Right.
They're particularly useful for alcoholics. We've seen that it works miracles in life. But really, it's the gospel in compression.
Right.
In miniature.
Yeah.
It's like, here's what the gospel looks like with wheels
on. Talking the other day to a mutual friend of ours who is a lifelong AA follower, talks about he's 30 plus years sober now, gets up every day and practices his gratitude, and every night works what he wants to do better the next day.
That's
And this is, and what struck me about that is by all appearances, he's very successful, very, very controlled. He's got his life together, and he's still doing what we know from the 12 steps to be one of the more basic steps. And he still does it every day. And I'm talking to him as he's explaining this, and he just flippantly said it, and I said, whoa, go back to this. Talk to me about this. And it reminded me of what I try to accomplish in my own Bible studies, prayer time, but I'm not nearly as committed or focused or intense about it as he is. I don't come to it thinking my life depends on me doing this.
Yeah.
It does.
It does.
It does. I would check that answer correctly.
Yeah. This is, in AA, we talk about the gift of desperation.
Right.
And it's interesting, right? GOD, gift
Right.
of desperation.
Yeah.
So people always like, coming up with these cute kind of like acronyms. Bottom.
Yeah.
Of coming to the end of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Think about Eugene Peterson's translation of the Message, where he talks about, blessed are those who come to the end of their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I count it a privilege to have come to the end of my own road.
Right.
I have no illusions
Mm-hmm.
about who I am,
Mm-hmm.
both in my brokenness and in my beauty.
Mm-hmm.
I have to hold both of those in
Yes.
tension.
Mm-hmm.
And but I have no illusions, and I know that I have to work a program of spiritual maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
My sobriety depends upon
Right.
that I'm in a fit spiritual condition.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Otherwise, I may go looking for heaven on earth in other places.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's alcohol or drugs, but it could be food. It could be,
Yeah.
Listen, how many calls have you gotten about guys from addictions to porn or to gambling
You're right,
or
right.
sports betting
Mm-hmm.
or work,
Mm-hmm.
alcoholism? Good night. On and on and on. We will go looking
Yeah.
to drink from wells, broken cisterns.
Broken cisterns,
Right?
bowing down in front of idols that can't give you life.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the human condition.
Mm-hmm.
That is our nature. And one of the things I love, one of the things I love about the church is that it has done such a beautiful job of housing AA and OA and
Right.
NA,
Mm-hmm.
and all these different meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So often, most of them happen, or many of them happen in churches, right? And I had a pastor I met at one who had pastored a very large church and had been arrested DUI, right? Driving under intoxication. And rather than the church supporting him and getting him help, they just fired him, like basically pitched him out.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very unpleasant situation. And he said to me one day in a church basement, he said, "Man, I wish the people upstairs could know what's going on." Because the miracles that are happening regularly.
Oh, well, yeah. AA does church better than the church does.
Well, and he said, but I couldn't have gotten here unless I had really passed through the gauntlet of my own brokenness.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, it's this, the gospel is like, if you're not comfortable with paradox, don't play with Christianity. And it's, the gospel is loaded with this upside down logic and calculus, where it's like
life through death.
Life through death,
Yeah.
virgin birth.
Yeah.
1 to 3, 3 and 1. It's enough to make your mind screw up.
Yeah.
On itself. But I'm reminded that when you're in touch with your own need daily, then the spiritual maintenance your friend referenced is absolutely essential. And we don't do it out of fear or anxiety.
No.
Because it's magic.
Yeah.
I do it because I have to stay close to
Well, and it's life-giving.
and
It is so life-giving. Yeah. A lot of us are afraid of our shadow side.
Yes.
And especially if you're a religious professional, you don't want to let anybody know that you have that shadow side,
Yep.
which sets us up
Mm-hmm.
to be devoured by
Yes.
that shadow side.
Yes.
What would you say to a friend who knows there's something but is scared to look at it?
Yeah. I think that's everybody. And if you don't know that,
Oh,
then you're actually in real danger.
well, I was asking for a friend.
Yeah, you're
That's
asking.
right.
I mean, listen. I mean, you're into some rich territory here, right? Because, I'm an admirer of the work of Carl Jung,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, Jung developed the term shadow.
Right.
What's interesting about Jung's understanding of the shadow is that what's inside of it are parts of ourselves that we have deemed to be unworthy
Right.
of love,
Right.
that we have deemed unacceptable,
Right.
parts of ourselves. So, and to neglect shadow work, to use this term, is making a decision at your own peril, right?
Right.
Like, it is incumbent on us, I think, as Christians, to become well acquainted with our interior world. What's in there?
Mm-hmm.
The more we can make the unconscious conscious,
Mm-hmm.
then we know what we're working with.
Right.
Right. The tragedy is
The ability to name.
Yes, and to be able to peer. Now you
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. So the steps are actually set up to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So step one, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable.
Mm-hmm.
Now take out the word alcohol and put in whichever word
Yeah.
you want. Workaholism, the admiration of my
Mm-hmm.
congregation. I'm addicted to that. Right? Money, success,
Yeah.
whatever
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, right? There's the admission of I'm a broken man
Mm-hmm.
or a broken person, right? And then we move into the second step, right? That we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And if you think about the word sanity, I think I like the word wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
Can restore us to wholeness, right? And then the steps progress you through a series of exercises and attitudes and principles designed to help you look into the shadow. When you get to steps
Right.
4 and 5, man, you are looking into the
That's
shadow.
right.
Made a searching and fearless moral inventory.
Fearless.
of ourselves.
Yeah, that's always the one that got me.
Number 4.
Yeah.
5. Admitted
Admitted
to
to
God,
God.
to ourselves, and to another
That's
human
it.
being
Yeah.
the exact nature of our wrongs.
Yeah. I had to
It-
sit down and read it out loud.
It is clear-eyed.
Yeah.
You must take a clear-eyed
Mhm.
look at what is
Mhm.
happening inside of yourself. Not to shame yourself, to beat yourself up,
No.
but
No.
for
No.
the
No.
sake of saying, and again, when you go through this process, and it all sounds so intense, and parts of it are, what this leads to ultimately, and this is the whole point of the 12 steps, and pastors don't know this, people don't know this, right? But this is what the point of the 12 steps. This is straight out of Bill Wilson's mouth. It is to facilitate a spiritual awakening
Mm-hmm.
of sufficient force that it will expel your need to rely on external
Anything's right.
to solve internal problems. Right? It is to have a spiritual
Awakening.
It's
Sit.
interesting. There's no mention anywhere in the 12 steps about here's how to stop drinking. Here's how to stop overeating. Here's how to stop. There's no mention of it.
Mm-mm.
It's all about here's how to get your relationship with yourself, with God, and others
And it's straightened out. Yeah.
straightened out so that you will live a life that sees these crutches, if you will, as unnecessary. You'll literally throw the crutches away.
The naming, the fearless inventory scares a lot of people. But when I remind people of along my spiritual journey, I have learned that when you begin to pray that Jesus will help you with something, I want him to grab me and throw me on the other side of the problem. And I want to look back and say, wow, that was close.
Yeah, right.
but I'm feeling it. He never does that with me. He always, if I pray about something, if I say, listen, my relationship with Ian is broken, and I want to find a way to. I'm going to run into you at the grocery store. We're going to pump gas next to each other.
Right. Yeah.
It's just going to be. This is not what I wanted.
Right.
He leads you right through the problem, and you face it and you deal with it, and in the power of His resurrection grace, you overcome it. He gives you victory. And because of that, you don't ever have to be afraid of it again.
Yeah.
So when you do the inventory and somebody says, hey, aren't you the guy who, yeah, that was me.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. I mean, there is such, the program of the 12 steps, and again, I just urge everybody to read them and to see them really as they're a model for discipleship.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
This is what the gospel looks like in the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And how do we live in restored relationship with God, ourselves, and others, day to day, moment to moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's they are deceptively simple when you read them, but when you actually work them, you realize, there is such depth under every single one of them.
Well, that's the problem with all of Jesus' sayings. You know, you want to cross stitch them and put them on your refrigerator door until you actually have to do them.
Exactly. Yeah, I love talking about the 12 steps with pastors and leaders of different types, because honestly, there is stuff happening in the basement of their churches at those meetings that if they could only see it.
Oh yeah.
That happen regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I see miracles regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there on a Tuesday, and there's a 25-year-old guy living in his car, and out coming to a meeting. And I come back 6 months later, and he's no longer living in his car.
That's right.
He's finally got an apartment. Come back 6 months later, he's now and he's lost 30 pounds, and he's looking great. And it's
the old story of sitting with Jesus, clothed and in his right mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These are people who. This is interesting. When I was thinking about just as you said that, I was thinking about the prodigal son story, which I don't know anybody in recovery that doesn't tear up, whether they believe in Jesus or not.
Yeah.
They hear that story, they go, "That's my story."
Yeah.
He came to his senses.
Yeah.
He came to his senses. And what you see in those rooms are people having spiritual awakening that leading to a coming to their senses. And I just am so moved every time I attend meetings.
Oh, and here are some of the stories.
Oh my gosh, I have seen things that make my heart bust with joy.
Yeah. Now let's talk about your book, The Fix, because one of the things I love about this book is it's a good way to sneak. Yeah. Instead of giving them the big book, I can say, "Hey, read Ian's book, The Fix," and it'll help you. Let's talk practically. All of us are messed up. All of us are dealing with something. All of us have something in our past that we're scared to death is going to catch up with us one day, and all of that. So I give somebody a copy of The Fix. What are you hoping they get, or start doing?
Yeah. So what The Fix does, and the subtitle I love, even though it's very long, right? How the 12 steps offer a surprising path of transformation for the well-adjusted, that should have been in quotation marks, the down and out, and everybody in between, right? So there's the 12 steps for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? We begin with honesty, right? That's step one, right? We just get honest. We just admit that our lives are a mess, and they're kind of unmanageable. And they may look great. And you know this as a pastor. And I know this working with well-known clients who are well-known.
Yeah.
Whatever. Everybody's a mess.
Oh, listen. When I was a chaplain for the Brentwood Police Department, people would say, "There's not much crime in Brentwood." I said, "Yeah. Everything you find anywhere else is here."
Yeah.
They just have better lawyers.
Yes. It's they dress it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. But we admit that we're powerless, and I think powerlessness is a very wonderful thing to grab hold of.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean helpless, right? Powerless doesn't mean, that we don't have agency and freedom. And, I was powerful enough to get in my car and drive over every day, right? I mean, so we have power, but ultimately we are powerless over people, places, and things. Anyone who's raised kids knows this. Right? That we can certainly have influence, but we don't have power.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And there's this amazing. I remember years ago, I heard a young guy at a meeting say that he had discovered that week that powerlessness was a superpower. Again, this is that paradox of the gospel.
Yeah.
When I let go, when I give up, when I surrender,
Mm-hmm.
then suddenly a new power
Right.
comes in, right? That enables me to do that which I was unable to do for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But that requires giving up
Yeah.
on living your life on your own unaided willpower.
There is an alabaster statue of Jacob wrestling with the angel, done by some German sculptor that I cannot remember his name. It is an overwhelming piece. But the image of Jacob slumped in the embrace of when Jacob finally gives up.
Yes.
I cannot win.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
Yeah. And you know, everybody should be able to cop to the addiction of control.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Of being over controlling. Sometimes that controlling nature comes out aggressively. Sometimes, very often, it comes out passive aggressively, very subtly. Right?
Why do you keep looking at me when you say that?
You're my avatar for all the broken people in the world. But you know what I mean? Like it's
yes, I do know what you mean.
People are, you know, this is, you know, the problem of the garden. We're always trying to control. And so when we realize, you know, I'm not in control, I'm not in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And if I am, I'm really screwed.
Yeah.
What I really need is to turn my life over to the care of someone who actually knows what they're doing, right? And has the power to do it. And I love that the steps just keep rolling out this insistence that, like, you know, your best. There's a guy I know at a meeting one time said to me when I complained about meetings. This is years and years and years ago. He said, "Well, your best old ideas got you here, so maybe you ought to listen." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The old Dr. Phil has that working out for you, huh?
Exactly. Your best old ideas got you here, so why don't you just sit down and listen?
Yeah.
My sponsor is this wonderful guy, and for those listening who don't know what sponsors in 12-step programs, when you come in, you find a person who's been in the program longer than you, sponsor you, walk you through the steps, and provide advice, not counseling, just support and advice. And some of it is ripping genius.
Yes.
It is ripping genius, right? And but he would say to me stuff all the time that would just make me, well, first of all, give up control and like just shut up and listen, you know. And he's a good old boy from Tennessee. He just has thick accent. He just say stuff to me all the time like, I'm going to ask you to do something. He said, but just understand that there's not one thing that AA will ask you to do that you ever considered prior to your arrival. Like, there's nothing here that you were considering doing. But trust me, that day it's going to work.
You know?
And we have the testimonies of millions of men and women who've been through the program, in the program, that it does work. That it really works. It's not snake oil. It's not another like wellness hack on Instagram or TikTok. Like this very quietly has been working in the lives of people for 90 years. And it's because it's really just the gospel.
Yeah.
And
well, that's when I tell people. I wandered in, as I was telling you, to AA the other way. I became a big fan of my study of church history of Samuel Shoemaker, who was Bill W.'s pastor and instrumental in, but who also had the theology of being engaged with those who were around his church, the alcoholics and around his church, and began that ministry to that, and brought a lot of what we understand as AA to it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I did it, and then through life experience and all that, got to know a lot more of the program with that. But this walk of having to deal with our stuff before it deals with us, and the freedom to do that, and the freedom to say, yes, I'm on a journey. I am messed up. I have messed up. I'll probably mess up again, but I'm working my program, to use the AA language. I have found to be very freeing, and
it's freeing because everyone comes into the rooms of AA or whatever the program, their 12-step program is, with a lot of shame, a lot of defeat, and I expect I'm going to make mistakes. Like, it is baked into my calculation.
That's right.
I know I am going to make mistakes, right? And it wasn't until I was really deeply involved in 12-step groups that I was ever free enough to say, and that's okay. That is how it is. This is how it is. I am going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But I have tools to work with those mistakes, right? I have not only a God who forgives, but I have tools that help me to restore things when I break them, right? Relationships, patterns of behavior that are unhelpful, and a determination that, I have to actively, consciously, daily monitor and self-regulate. I mean, honestly, like, a lot of what 12 steps is just like, this is what good self-leadership looks like.
Yeah. Which we can't do any other kind of leadership until there's effective self-leadership.
Yes. Yeah. And so I don't do any of this with a sense of like, oh, I'm broken, I'm bad. I don't have, that. When I say that, I, honestly, even just sitting here saying I'm broken, there's not even a pang in me that feels smaller or inferior or bad or any of that stuff. I feel like this is how it is here.
Yeah.
And I'm daily becoming a better man.
Yeah.
And I will say this, and this is going to sound, but I think I can say it with some confidence. I am the best version of myself I have ever been right now. And I recognize I can slip backwards.
Sure.
But as of today, I can say I'm the best version of myself that I've ever been. Part of that is years, my age, my history, but also the personal work, the spiritual work that I've done. Where I feel at home in my own skin. I feel okay with being me today.
I have young pastors come and say, well, you're such a wise pastor. And I said, wisdom just means I screwed up before you did.
Yeah. Well, there's some truth to that, right?
That's all it means, man.
So here's a question for you. So on the way over here, I'm in the car, and I've been hooked on a song. And you're going to laugh when I tell you what the song is. In 1969, the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
Lou Reed.
Yeah.
Take a walk on
take a walk on the wild side.
They wrote a song called Jesus. Have you ever heard this?
No.
It is crazy. And Glenn Campbell, of all people, covered it on an album that he did in the 90s called Meet Glenn Campbell. You got to check out this song because it preaches.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
It's 3 identical verses. They all say the same thing. Okay? So they're identical verses. There's no bridge. There's no chorus. It's just 3 verses. Okay? And the lyric is this. Jesus, help me find my proper place. Jesus, help me find my proper place. Help me in my weakness, 'cause I've fallen out of grace. Jesus, help me find my proper place.
Holy cow.
This is Lou Reed, right?
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about that idea of saying to God, help me find my proper place. Because so oftentimes people overvalue and overestimate themselves, or they undervalue and underestimate themselves. They rarely find them. They're either in the bow or the stern, and they're never happy in the middle of the boat. And one of the things the 12 steps taught me was how to live in the middle of the boat.
Yeah.
Not too high, not too low, not too big, not too small. Finding my proper place. And I think that's that's shalom.
Yeah.
That's peace.
There you go. There you go.
that's that settled assurance. It's and I think about what Tim Keller said once. He said that humility feels like relaxation. And I love that because you are relaxing back into this is who I am. I come with foibles. I am both a saint and a sinner. I am beautiful and I am broken. And I have to learn how to live in the tension of these things. And the steps so help with that.
Yeah.
To find your proper place. Right? Because every time you go to an AA meeting and someone's sharing their story, here's what you'll hear. I mean, it's almost guaranteed.
Yes, right.
You're going to hear this. I never felt like I really
belonged.
Or I never felt at home in my own skin. They had not found their proper place.
Never felt good enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so with alcohol or food or drugs or porn or whatever it was, what that gave me was momentary relief from that dis-ease that
inside.
I felt all the time. Right? That existential...
medicating the pain.
Right. What was it? Was it Karl Barth who talked about das Nichtige, the night, right? That place of just feeling dislocated from yourself, alienated from yourself, from others, and from God, right?
Hence, the prodigal son comes to himself in some translations, and in other translations, it comes to his senses.
Yes.
But
and I love that.
But yeah, me too. That's
better poetry.
This idea that I have misplaced me.
Yes. And when you find,
I'm putting me down somewhere.
But what I hear in Lou Reed when he's singing that song, right, is he's speaking. The reason it's so powerful, that one line, is he has so beautifully summarized what all of us are looking for, which is our proper place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get on Spotify and find that out.
Get the Glenn Campbell version.
Get
the Underground Velvet version. I mean not the best. Get the Glenn Campbell version.
This guy is Ian Cron. He is the real deal. He has written a fabulous book called The Fix: How the 12 Steps
Offer a surprising path of transformation for the well-adjusted, the down and out, and everyone in between.
I was just really glad I had remembered the fix. With that, get the book. I'm Mike Glenn. This is the Engaged Church Network. Thanks for being with us today.